Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to talk about a river, and not just any river, the Merrimack River. Now, we got some images of this, so just like, here's the deal. You know a little about Lowell. You've done the reading, or you're about to do the reading, and you know about this explosion of the textile industry in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Um, what I want to focus on is the river itself. Because you know about the Lowell girls and the labor and all that. Um, but what's interesting is that it wasn't just Lowell. It wasn't just this one town. It was an entire system based around the Merrimack River called the Lowell-Waltham, or sometimes just Waltham system. Um, and what you had is, if you look at the map of Lowell, you look down and you notice it's a bend in the river, the Merrimack River, and then the Concord River kind of comes in on the side. And both those rivers are funneled off into a whole series of canals. And you'll notice that each one of those canals goes underneath a factory to push big wheels to power the machines, like you see in slide 8, right? So they're harnessing this power of the river. This is one thing about New England. You know this, that you got these steep falling rivers. You got enough fall in the mill towns. Anyways, all right. The fascinating thing here is how they went about it. You saw how it works in Lowell, but Lowell's not going to be the only place. There's going to be Haverhill. There's going to be Waltham. There's going to be Manchester. There's going to be Concord. There's going to be Nashua. These same towns like Lowell, they're going to set up all up and down the river. It's this group. It's this group of kind of family members and friends and investors all working together called the Boston Associates. Now, they're not one big corporation. Let's not go there. But they are a big group of investors who are all investing in little pieces of this. And so they're all kind of working together, which means all of those production cities are working together. Here's why that's so important. As these places get larger and larger, you need to regulate the flow of the water. How do you do that? Well, very simple. You can look around anywhere in New England and find this. You have dams, those old stone dams that if you haven't seen in person, you've seen in pictures. That's how they regulate the water. They dam up the river, and they dam tributaries to the river everywhere. Um, well, what you have is now you don't just have those corporations in these individual towns. You have dam companies, individual companies that own dams all over, again, owned by those same big group of guys, to regulate the flow of water. I mean, they will even get so far that they will dam up the major lakes of New Hampshire. If you go to the Merrimack River map, you will look and you will see all the cities and some of the dams, and you will see they've actually taken over Lake Winnipesaukee and the other two lakes up there. And they will regulate the flow of the lakes, these big natural lakes, and they will regulate the flow of the river. They had this thing so dialed in the 1830s, 40s, 50s, that they could run the exact speed on these exact machines anytime they wanted. If they wanted to up the production, they sent the message up. It took about a week to regulate, but they could get it perfect so that all the water was flowing through each dam set to each specific level at a specific time to keep every single one of these factories running at optimal performance. And remember, each town is going to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 20 factories. It boggles the mind that they could get it this perfect. The problem is, they got it this perfect. The problem is, people don't always like that. Because when you build a dam, you have problems. You're going to flood people's land. You put a dam up, it backs up the river, it floods people's land. Because they're not buying all the land that you flood. These guys in the dam company are just buying the area where they put the dam. So now you got the legal rights. Do these people have the right to build a dam for the greater efficiency of the system and dam up your area? I don't know. No one had really kind of dealt with this. Um, Also, you got that flow of silt. When you put a dam in place, all that nutrients that flows down the river and flows out on the sides with every little flood is not going to come anymore. It just gets stuck at the bottom of the dam. This is the big problem they're having along the Colorado River now with those huge dams. Um, Anyways, each side of the Grand Canyon. Never mind. Um, the other thing is fish. The salmon and the shad would swim upriver every year. You've probably heard about this. But now they can't. It's a known fact. Fish can't swim along a river, then climb up a rock wall and go over. It's just something they're not bred to do. So, you have the situation where a lot of these people are depending on the land along the river, which is being flooded. A lot of these people are depending on these fish runs for food in the off season when they're not farming. And so you have this mass reaction in the Merrimack River Valley. Because remember, there's other people there besides these factories who, frankly, are being put out. They can't make a living. People are going to actually start attacking dams. They're going to try to rip down dams. They're going to try and blow up dams. There's going to be situations where there's going to be armed guards at dams just to prevent mobs from destroying them. The amazing thing is, in all this success, all this prosperity, the Merrimack River becomes America's first environmental casualty. Who knew? We'll talk to you more next week.